Hi, Shalom friends. Let me share with you some inspired words of the prophet Jeremiah. Alas, she sits in solitude. The city that was great with people has become like a widow. She weeps bitterly in the night. Her tear is on her cheek. She has no comfort from all her lovers. All her friends have betrayed her. They have become her enemies. Does that sound familiar to you at all? If it did sound familiar, it's because we've heard the lamentation of Jeremiah, who wrote this thousands of years ago at the destruction of the temple, and pointed out that the city of Jerusalem, which was courted by many, and Zion, the people of Israel that was once respected, revered, and even feared, has now become a derelict, thrown away, abandoned by her friends, and she sits in exile. I think those words could be used on the most recent of events when her so-called friends, the Western world and United States of America, essentially abandoned Israel and said that for our purposes, it is best for America to make a deal. And the fact that this country, Iran, threatens and talks and threatens and talks, and in their mind will try their best to keep their word to destroy the people of Israel, which will never happen. But that's what they're saying. America is just saying, we can't help Israel, don't worry. Strangely, and I say this with tongue-in-cheek, America became very God-fearing. They say to Israel, don't worry, God will help. I think that the most recent agreement that was signed by the president, which is being publicly debated in the streets of the United States of America and indeed all over the world, is a very bad deal for the United States for many reasons, and you could read up on those reasons. Some, but not limited, are America is going to be giving billions and trillions of dollars to a country that sponsors terrorism, which essentially means America will be supporting a potential threat to its own people and to its own buildings. Also, America has capitulated, has no honor or dignity in the Arab world, and for many other reasons as well. So I think it's very bad for America in terms of a policy. But strangely, I think it's actually a very good thing for Israel. And I can almost see your eyebrows rising. What? It's terrible for Israel. Israel's under a threat. And I'll tell you why I think it's a good for Israel. Because it's important for Israel to know that her friends have abandoned her. And this is true for a long time. Let's stop and think for a moment. Were it not to be for Israel's desire to be admired, liked by the Western world, in particular with America, if it would not have been for that desire, could Israel have stamped out the enemy within and without? To put it simply, if they did not have to worry about world opinion, and they approached their disagreements and problems with their neighbors as an issue of life and death, war, we have an enemy, they're trying to hurt us, what should we do? Is there any doubt in your mind, my dear listener, that Israel could have been victorious? I should not have to say it, but I will. When I say Israel, I'm referring to the people of Israel that are going to be blessed with divine intervention. If you need something contemporary, 1967 would be a wonderful thing to keep in mind. A small country besieged by the mighty, with God's help, was incredibly, miraculously successful. Do you doubt that that miracle cannot happen again? I have no doubt. He did it once, they'll do it again. What has changed? The preoccupation with world opinion. The preoccupation with currying favor by literally the Gentile, the non-Jew. More particularly, what has happened is that Israel has substituted, to a great extent, its faith in God and put its faith in America. And no matter how terrible the policy has been and how dangerous and vulnerable Israel has become, Israel keeps on saying we could rely on America. And every single time there's another capitulation from Israel, we're doing it to please America. And after all, America will respond accordingly. Are we not the only democracy? Are we not their best friend? Indeed, America doesn't understand our danger. But if they did understand our danger, they would certainly stick up for us. And now we have the Iran deal. It could not be clearer the danger that Israel is under. It cannot be clearer to America the feelings, the desires, the needs of the state of Israel. And America has essentially abandoned Israel. I say the word America, I'm referring to an agreement, because America is nothing more than an instrument through which God flows through which godly energy flows. I think this is a wonderful thing. Why? Because the Jewish people, some 6 million Jews in Israel and worldwide, just simply say to themselves, Im einani li mili. If I am not for myself, who will be? If we will not take steps in the direction of supporting our own, defending our own, who can we rely on? It's clear from this deal that even our best friends are self-serving. So where do we go back? We go back to an essential truth. The Jewish people are eternal because we have an eternal God that watches over us, and we strengthen our connection to this eternal God by absorbing the message of the eternal Torah. For God, Israel, and Torah are one. If there's anything that we should be preoccupied now, I do not believe it's trying to convince the world and even the Congress that America has made a bad decision. I don't think we'll be successful personally. And even if we are successful, it's really a diversion. Because even if we were to tear up that agreement, Israel would still be in massive danger from the south and from the north. And indeed, the safety issue in Israel today, as we are talking, is dire. There are rockets which are not being recorded, but there are rockets falling, people being hurt, and a general spirit of anxiety that has befallen the people of Israel. As one Israeli bitterly remarked, why is it that I can't sleep at night and the people that are firing the rockets can sleep at night? Should it not be the other way around? We're the victors. Why are we not sleeping and they are? So, what can we do? The answer is to study Torah, do mitzvahs, be proud that we're Jewish, and say to ourselves and to our children and to our community and to our fellow citizens that Israel will be strong, because God is with Israel. And the more biblical we become, and the more spiritual we resolve to be, the greater the victory. And that is why it is brought down in the mystical tradition that there'll come a time when we will say those words that I just said, but instead of in a sorrowful tune, it will be in a joyful tune. It will be, do you remember the city that was in solitude? She's not anymore in solitude. Do you remember the country that was abandoned by its friends? Not anymore. Today the world respects. It has many friends because it's built on respecting and admiring a people that respect and admire themselves, because God admires and respects his people. Shalom, may we have the proper strength and fortitude to do what we're supposed to do.